Celebrity interviews live from the Grotto without Greg Hanna, my co-host, but I have a question for my guest at the end. So I'm excited to welcome, we all know him from the Breakfast Club and much, much more, John Kapelos. John, thanks for stopping by. And you know what? We're going to just jump right into specifically enough. Breakfast Club, your acting career, what do you think you're best known for? What do you think the biggest thing is? Because after Breakfast Club, you've done many other things as well. Is it depend?
I think it is. It depends on what's been seen the most. And I would have to imagine the Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Seinfeld, Roxanne, Internal Affairs, probably in that order, maybe where you have a substantial part. I was in Shape of Water, where if you blink, you miss me. But yeah. Those movies and certain TV shows, like I did the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, you did? What were you in the I love the Umbrella Academy.
I was in the second season. I played, I always forget his name, the club owner who shot Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, really?
Come on, John. I'll remember his name by the end of the podcast. Come on, I should remember his name. Oh, Jack Ruby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Wow. I'm a
with these rules behind me. I'm forgetting it's Jack Ruby.
I'm waiting to another season of this. When is that happening? I don't know.
I don't know myself. I'm out of the show. I just did that one episode or one season, but it's a mystery.
I knew you recognized it's. See, my fiance Vanessa and I, she laughs every day. Every show we watch, I've interviewed one person in it. Isn't that pretty amazing? That in my career of interviewing people, I think it's for somebody who's done this independently. I've owned it in the show the whole time, never worked for anybody. And I have done this, and I'm like, oh, I've interviewed that person from that show. I've interviewed that person from that show. And I said, you know what? This guy looks familiar. And now I'm going to have to go back because we binge watched it, Vanessa.
Working with some of these people, too, there are certain people I've worked with, and I go, oh, my God. And you see them years later or years before. Go, wait a minute, I've worked with them. It's a similar sort of thing, especially when I've done a lot of parts that have varied in size. And sometimes you come into a project and it's very quick, and sometimes it's much longer. Like a lot of people recognize me from Justified. It all depends what shows people watch, things like that.
Yeah, and that's the difference, right? We're in a different time period. I go talk to my daughter, I interviewed that person. Who's he? But however, somebody else would say, oh my gosh, you interviewed that person. It just depends on the age. And now we're running into this problem that a lot of people aren't remembering certain shows that were just so popular. They're on TV now that kids aren't watching television anymore.
I heard the term used on one of the podcasts I watched, or somebody was talking about called the monoculture. Now, in the older days, when you had 3 networks and the studios and things, it was more of the monoculture. So people like all saw Star Wars, and now we have a much more fragmented media environment. So I asked a friend of mine's daughter the other day, we're out to dinner. I said, who do you love in the movies? And I was expecting somebody that I knew, but I know Zendaya, but that's who she said. And I said, from Euphoria. She's a 17-year-old young lady. So everybody, and I don't know Euphoria. I don't know that show because it's not, again, a fragmented media environment. It's a different world out there. A lot of stuff to watch.
But the problem is not enough that keeps, if you binge all the time. So I'm lucky to be able to work and just watch stream shows all day long. And I work from home with my business, and I'm lucky as heck. And I get paid to strategize and do different things and different paperwork and work with AI and all that stuff while I have streaming shows in the background, and I get to just watch all of them. And it's,
as a consumer, I have to say, and maybe because I have Prime or Hulu and Disney and Netflix, and
me too.
But, I dropped a few of them because I was sitting there. I don't watch this one as much as that one, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a thing that people are doing where they watch one streamer and they watch everything on it, and then they quit it. And so that's why Apple is doing Slow Horses or Cemetery Road. They're doing them episodically because
everybody's gone back to episodic, which is annoying. It's like we're back to, and you know who they copied this
But they want to keep their subscribers that way because people are doing, they're binge watching a show and then dropping the service. So that's a boo-hoo. Everybody's talking about Netflix taking over Warner Brothers or Paramount. And I was in a discussion earlier with a friend of mine about this. Who do you favor? What does it matter? And all it matters to me is that people want to keep on making films, and a lot more matters to me, of course, that they don't embrace AI or take actors' jobs away from them needlessly and respect the unions and all that sort of stuff.
But what's going to happen? You're right. So episodically, them doing that is to keep people interested. But the problem is, like Paramount Plus seems like it keeps cranking new content out. Netflix, not as much. I don't know. What are you seeing? Which ones are the bigger streaming
I don't have my nose
and I
to
love Apple TV too. Apple TV is phenomenal. So that's just
I don't have my nose to Netflix that much. I find that it's a bit of a repository of stuff that's carbon copied, to use a term, or photocopied around the world. So you have certain series that are developed by certain people that are shot in Italy or Netherlands or whatever. And some of the shows, I think the Danish and the Nordic shows are really interesting. There's a show out of Greece called Maestro in Blue, which is very interesting that I've been checking out. I think that overall, it's good that people are developing content, that horrible, making films in different parts of the world, making series. I think there's an upside to that. Netflix also still has some really good shows, like the Death by Lightning. That was, I thought, really good. That end up on Netflix. Like, is Seinfeld back? Is on Netflix now too?
I don't know for sure. And you have to tell me the Seinfeld episode you were in. Which one was it?
Oh, I was in an episode called The Sniffing Accountant.
Okay. All right. Okay. And what was your role? And then I'll remember completely because I've watched almost every Seinfeld episode.
I was the sniffing accountant.
Okay. How cool is that? Do you think that show is one of the shows you just get recognized? It's unreal what happens of a specific show when they know that, because people remember every Seinfeld episode, kind of like The Office, or kind of just, it's unreal about certain shows.
Certain shows engender their own loyalty. Every show has their own sort of fan base and people they love. I did this show called Forever Night, a vampire cop show. People love that show. And they knew the permutations of it. And more so than sometimes the writers, because they'd realized an inconsistency in season 2. He didn't do this in season 1. Now he's doing that in season 2. It's that sort of stuff. And the writers go, oh boy, these people watch this show more closely than others. And you have Seinfeld aficionados, people that love Seinfeld. And then there are people that I say, what have you done? What have you done the last week? And I'll go, I did teenage movie. Oh, I don't watch teenage movies. I did Seinfeld. Oh, I don't watch sitcoms. Okay, so there are people that also pride themselves on what they don't watch. Oh, I would never watch a soap opera. But as an actor, you have to get your feet wet, your profession wet in every sort of genre. And I've done them all, from Jesus to Paul.
But so that's intriguing your career. Everyone, you always coin yourself Breakfast Club. Really, John, or in your Wikipedia, you do. Well, and the fact of the matter is, you just mentioned a couple shows. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, you were in that? You were in that? And it just gets the juices going. A working actor. That's the definition of you in a lot of ways.
And also, people get hung up with the marketing and the publicist. And of course, it's good for the career that people say these sort of things are your high points. But for an actor, for myself, it's about the process, or the process, as they would say in Canada. I don't really feel much when people will say, how do you act? Will ask, how do you act differently in a film or a TV show or this and that? And it all depends on the material. I never phone it in, and I never gauge my work to a specific medium. Oh, this is a movie, so I'm going to behave like this, or it's always about the behavior and the process. A very dear friend, how should I say, mentor of mine when I was starting acting, said to me, do everything. I asked him, I said, when you see an actor sitting on a couch on a talk show and they're going, I turn this down and this down, they have the luxury of doing that. But my friend said, no, you are the sort of actor and I am the sort of actor where you just have to do everything. Now, sometimes there's a downside to that, because you can do things that maybe are not that great. If you go over my IMDb, there are things on you go, sketchy or smelly. But it's the way it is.
But see, the thing is, John, is you could have your big break and become an Academy Award winner. That's the way this industry works. You never know when that opportunity, that job comes.
And yeah, I've already, if I reflect on my career now, which I sometimes do, I've had the opportunity to work with some great actors. Some of them, sadly, are not with us anymore. It's not like I'm ever going to have the opportunity to work with Tree Williams again, or certain people that there was an actor, John Randolph, who I worked with, a wonderful actor way back when. Not a name actor, but an actor that influenced me, that I really cared for and liked. People influence you. And I'm sure you can reflect in your career the little moments when... That's why when I go to Carl the Janitor, no character is too small. There are people like the school janitor or the person that can influence people in their lives. So when John Hughes said, hey, do this movie, do this part, it's like, it's how many pages or this and that. It was bigger, then it got smaller. But you do things because you honor the role and you honor that role in life. As we stumble through life, we find people that have big influences and small. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I think about, hey, I remember this guy that helped me when I was doing this thing. It was really helpful. Or this person that, that mother who was really kind to me when I was in school and other people. For me, acting is about exploring all that stuff. And if you're given that opportunity, you're lucky.
Yeah, I am now pulling up your Wikipedia. The Lincoln Lawyer. I'm a huge fan of this show. Tell me about your character in that.
Again, that was a tiny role I did about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now, where I was playing this guy that's going off to Greece to visit his mother, and they're setting up his house for some sort of disaster. One day, one scene. Again, Lincoln Lawyer people, family, friends that saw that. Well, it was like a morning where you get up and there's a blast of air when you open the window. But it was fun to work on. I can count the number of disasters I've worked on in one hand, and even now, I look back on them and I think that was just making movies. Like where they choose a location where they.
But it's got to be a fun experience to do all this.
Well, I did the movie The Boost, which was an interesting experience with James Woods and Sean Young, directed by Harold Becker, a director that I saw him the other day. He was signing a book. He's now 94 years old, still around. He directed The Onion Field, a lot of great movies, but way back when. But they chose a location which was right in Long Beach because it was perfect. They really liked the location, the look of it and everything. But every minute and a half, 2 minutes and 35 seconds, there was this horrendous thud because they were banging out the hull of a ship, and a ship works about a half a mile away. So the sound of all the stuff we shot that day had to be redone sonically because the sound was no good. And you reflect on experiences like that. And it was a big part in the movie. And I had all this stuff to say. And I don't know, the experience of an actor, when you have to replace your voice, it's a very delicate operation, A. And B, it never sounds the same. They're getting better at it nowadays. But looping a voice where you replace your dialogue after, man.
And how do they do it now with the rules with AI? Because you can do it very easily now. I can do it even with my Descript before I edit my podcasts. And
the rules are the actor has to do their own voice and have to replace their own voice.
But it still can be done with AI, where the AI generated of you.
Where AI what?
AI can regenerate your voice now and be able to plug it into a spot.
Yeah, but I think the Screen Actors Guild rules prohibit that actor has to do it live and they have to put it in.
Really? Oh, wow.
I think there are a lot of AI rules that are put in place now. The software and all that stuff's galloping ahead. I'm hoping that they have there's software that's on the market where you can simultaneously dub a newscast that's in German into English and have their lips change like that. You can put it into any language. So you have a menu of languages and you'll be watching a newscast from, let's say, the Netherlands, and they're speaking Dutch. And you can say, geez, I really want to hear this in French. So you change it to French and their lips and everything will change. So all that technology is there. And it's a question of the legal people at my dear union, the Screen Actors Guild, to figure that out.
What do you think of the whole Disney thing with OpenAI? That can break the whole contract, couldn't it? By what, Star Wars and Disney going over to OpenAI?
They're opening the toy chest and saying, hey, play with the toys. It won't be long before catalogs, I think, of music are going to sell the tracks of Led Zeppelin or the Beatles off. So you can get the drum track of Ringo from Helter Skelter, and you'll take the multi-tracks of people's tapes and those will be for sale. I don't know whether you know enough about recording, so you can remix and do stuff on your own. So all that stuff, I think, is, after people are all long gone, what's Jimmy Page going to say when they're using his guitar 2 centuries from now?
And I just looked at another wiki, Modern Family. We're binge watching it right now, Vanessa and I. She never saw, she saw only a couple episodes of Modern Family. And we just play it in the background. And oh my gosh, I see you had an episode.
Yeah, love doing the show. Funny people. For me, it's a little bit like coming into school in the middle of a semester and then being there for a couple of weeks and then I have to go to another school. So as a guest actor, you're in and out, especially when they're doing a show like Modern Family, which are really well-oiled machines.
And they all have to end. Why do they end? Because you're in the actors biz. Why do shows end when it seems like they still could go longer?
Oh my goodness, a variety of reasons. I did 48 episodes of a show way back when, the show Forever Night, and it's a grind to do all that work. And what happens is that people they want to do other things, they want to take a break, they've made enough money. The show I worked on way back when, we shot deep nights. We'd shoot from 4 or 5 in the afternoon till about 7, 8 in the morning. And man, a lot of marriages broke up. A lot of people were having substance abuse problems. Not me, but I just kept on plowing through the night. But it's difficult on people's lives when you're shooting places. I'm about to go up in January up to Winnipeg to work on a project. And like it'll be minus 19 degrees below centigrade that it was 3 weeks ago when I was there. And you have to spend time away from family, friends for a long time to be on location. So to be on film shoots or TV shoots. And even when you're shooting in Los Angeles and you're going to the same place every day for years, people say, I've had enough. I need to spend more time with my family. Or they just want to do other stuff. Or the show jumps the shark. And a lot of shows, I think, go on too long. Do we really need to see another season of The Simpsons?
That's never going to end because that predicts the world, right? This is all, you watch Simpsons, you know what's going to happen next. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I know, but I grew up and we had, 3, 4 seasons of the Flintstones. That was enough.
There was only 3 or 4 seasons? That's it?
Yeah, but I think, your generation, you get super saturated with stuff. And I also think that you can milk the cow only long enough. Dan Castellaneta is a wonderful guy. He was a fellow Second City colleague. He's the voice of Homer Simpson. God bless him. He can do Simpsons from here to eternity. And they'll be using his voice long after he's gone, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, I had the voice of Bart Simpson on my show. Yeah. Yeah.
Really, I think sometimes we get super saturated in the market with too much stuff. And that's why I'm not a big fan of sequels and sequel mania. I think a lot of that stuff is bereft of ideas, but that's just a personal opinion. What do I know? I'm just a small cog in the industry.
But you never know. You never know what's your next job. So what are your latest projects? Without saying anything, yeah.
I have a film that producers are looking at now, and that I've written with 2 other people, and we're hoping that they are serious about the project. So far, they have indicated that they'd like to do business. And so in the new year, I hope we're going to start negotiating to put that film together. It's a small movie compared to others. It's a comedy, a dark comedy. And then I've got a long form series that I've been working on that I'm the story editor on that's been written by a couple of other guys. And that's called The Mayor of Koreatown. And we're looking to find a streamer and a place to put that. And I'm playing John Hamm's father in a show.
But you can't mention that yet, right?
The working title of it is Shortwave, but they've made me sign an NDA, where I can't talk about all the other stuff. And if I had a buck for every NDA I've signed, that was no, you can't put it on the internet. You can't talk about it. I never talk about that anyway. So I kind of enjoying it to come out and then people go, oh, that's cool. You'll be the first to know on Facebook. I'll send you a message.
Well, that's definite. Especially I'm working with a streaming network called Radiate TV that we're building out right now. I'm doing some fractional CMO work for them. And I'm also
What's fractional CMO work?
Fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer.
Oh,
so
man,
basically, I have an agency. So I have an agency, and as a fractional, meaning I work for other clients, but I offer CMO work where I'll work with a lot of the projects, look at the whole thing. I'm helping them distribute lots of content to Radiate, especially podcasting now, bringing all these video podcasts to the network. We're trying to flood them. We're working at the other marketing side. We're creating another podcast. And I'm also working with one of his other distribution companies called RSG, which is Ready, Set, Go Distribution, where they distribute films and stuff like that and that nature. So I'm getting in an industry. I interviewed people forever. Go figure. And that's what I said about the power of podcasting. You never know who you're going to meet next, and you never know what relationship's going to come from it. And the opportunities always come. I could literally be like slowing down, and all I have to do is do a few interviews, talk to a few people, and bam, I'm busy again, meaning busier. I'm so swamped now. But that's the power of podcasting. And I try to teach everyone, you're doing podcasting wrong. You're looking at what monetization I can get from these ads. No, make connections. Make deals. Where is your business? How can you build your business, product or service through building a platforms like this? And it's unbelievable. Gives anyone an opportunity, which I think is a fair thing.
Yeah, connections are what it's all about, and I agree with that. The issue I saw with a podcast that I like to watch is that a lot of podcasts are being cloned by AI people outside of the country, and they're using people's content. It's happening to several places where, podcasts that are really well done and monetized are now being cloned.
Oh my. Wow.
So you got to watch out for that. YouTube needs to pick up its regulatory measures in that regard, because I think it threatens AI, which I think AI is everybody's fascination right now. It's an amazing thing, but it also has the potential to do stuff like that.
No, a serious problem.
So it can take you and all your content apparently and revoice it, give you an AI character, and actually take exactly all your interviews and repackage them and put them on a different site. And now they're selling your interviews that you've done and your content, but it's under a different thing. So you got to be really careful about content and content stealing. And I think when you talk about the voice thing and all those things, I think the best thing an actor such as myself can do right now, especially in the later part of their careers and lives, is to digitize themselves and make sure that their family has all that information, so that in the future, if they say, we want to use John Kapelos in the 2079 version of Breakfast Club, the 100th anniversary of it, 2084, I guess it would be. So that stuff, we marvel at it, and I think it's wonderful, but it's a little bit like nuclear energy, and it's got to be...
Oh, it's the most dangerous thing in the world. If you listen to a podcast called Diary of a CEO, he had somebody on that was really warning people about the dangers of AI. And I hear this stuff, and I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, the people
as
that
my
can
agency, if I don't learn it, I will fail. Or it's sad because it's going to take a lot of people's livelihoods away.
And and I'm not an expert in this field because but if you hack it and then tell it to make me an AR-17 or with some sort of bomb or assault weapon or something, or hack into this website or clone that, ding, ding, the democratization of information, right?
Yeah, if you tried Sora, where you can now cameo yourself, so I can invite you to Sora, it'd be pretty cool. And you could cameo yourself as your image in different videos, and you could be anywhere you want to be, all these different places. And it's the next social media platform that should do really well. It's still in its beginning phases, called Sora, and it's part of their video AI generation. But now they have it where you can put other characters in, you can put your dog in it, you can put all these different things in a video, and you could create these unreal videos doing it. But it's a social media platform now. So it's unbelievable where things are going. It's probably the next TikTok, who knows? But it's in its opening phases.
Acquaintance told me that he has somebody he knows who fancies himself a songwriter. And he has AI-generated lyrics that he puts into an AI-generated music platform that makes the song, creates the thing. And he has this avatar of a rock personality that he has, and he puts these songs up on Spotify. And he's got more listeners than I do on Spotify. And I have a legitimate album out on Spotify. So there you have it.
And so it's so many different things. The base thing is learn AI. This is the thing that they should have done when they rolled everything out 2.5 years ago. Provide education for everybody. They put it in your schools. Let people understand how to do it. I'm going to be doing a podcast with my clients Wednesday where we're going to use the free version of ChatGPT, because the paid version and the higher paid version gives you better answers than the free version. Right. And we're going to ask questions without giving any format on taxes. Now, if you put the right input output, you're going to get the right answers, but it's going to be funny, the answers they're going to get. Because everyone thinks if you ask AI it, it's gospel. No, it's not. You need to be very intelligent in your prompts. You got to be putting the right information in to get the right input output, garbage in, garbage out. And people are using AI and thinking, hey, it's working. And they literally don't know how to use and run the engine. So
yeah, it's going to be fun to figure it all out.
Exactly. So my final question for you, because my co-host Greg Hanna couldn't make it, is a very deep question. You ready for this, John? So tell me, what's the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Be kind and to be careful, to be considerate, and to be, I think in a situation, this might But even if you've done nothing wrong, and even if you're blameless, always look to yourself to see how you can do better. My mother, when I crossed the street as a child, and maybe a car would come through the intersection, and I was going through walking properly, I'd look both ways and stuff, and the light was green, and I was doing all the right things, but the car still careened and almost hit me. My mother would say, okay, what did you do wrong? How can you improve that? Maybe I should have walked a bit slower. Maybe I should have. You can always get better. And I think that aspirational, it's something that I think I was taught, but I think I've learned as I reflect on it and get that maybe my career reflects this, but that good work, that often goes unrewarded. It doesn't matter as long as it makes you, fulfills you, and gets you going.
That's powerful. Now, so John, this is conversation. I had no idea where we went. I'm glad because it's completely different than I'm going to have to go find our interview on the radio 12 to 13 years ago. Where can people follow? I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you that interview because I keep all my stuff. I'll find it somewhere. That's what's crazy. I have to dive deep and say, I interviewed that person and I go try to find it. I don't have it all archived because I do so many things. Go ahead.
Take a look at my IMDb, watch a few things, come back and ask me the questions about Dr. Detroit. Really,
I'm a huge fan of Dr. Detroit. I love it.
Yeah, you can ask me about all the little things I've done, all the droplets. One of my favorite films is Internal Affairs. Best film I think I've ever been in. We didn't talk about that. There's so much more.
No, there is, John. But you're going to work together, I believe, because of you looking to create films. I'm working with people who are funding movies, all these different things. I'm not just the average person that messages you on Facebook. Trust me on that one. And
you're not just the average person, period. So let's just leave it at that.
But I appreciate it, John. Thanks again, man. And we'll talk soon.
Get that t-shirt, not the average person.
Yeah, I love that. I'm 6'10", legitimate, and 300 pounds. Yeah. All right.
As West would say, forget about the 6 feet. Let's talk about
Where do you live, John? What area of the country?
It's a secret. It's a little place called Hollywood, California.
Oh, yeah.
Ever heard of it?
Never heard of it. All right. Yeah. See you, John. Appreciate it. All right. You're listening and watching the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Celebrity Interviews live from the Grotto. Greg Hanna, guys.